Hi, I'm James from Bellrock. I help leaders understand the intersection of where risk meets people. Today, I'm joined by Ivan Waterfield. I was just thinking this morning, Ivan, I've known you for, 10 plus years, I think, and through your partner, Sam, who we used to work together many years ago in mining. But Ivan Waterfield, CEO of HunterNet. We're going to have a yarn covering everything about, I guess, hopefully some of the exciting stuff HunterNet does, and also about what motivates you to keep showing up to do what you do. So welcome, Ivan, and thank you so much for your time, mate.
Thanks, James. Happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm just going to launch straight into the icebreaker because I like to keep this, moving quite quickly. So if you're at a barbecue and you're at a barbecue with people that have no idea what HunterNet does or what you do at HunterNet, and someone goes, Ivan, what do you do? How do you explain that to someone in a way that makes sense if they don't know HunterNet, they don't know Newcastle, they don't know what you guys do?
Yeah, and one thing I do, I never talk about my title. I think it's quite important to talk, because HunterNet is very unique, even though it's a cooperative. It's very unique in the country. There are a few things like this in the US and Europe, but there's nothing really like it here. So I actually talk about, we're actually representatives of industry and manufacturing for our region. Quite often some people will say, are you like the unions but for representing organisations? So, yeah, you could take it a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But we're really about representing particularly manufacturers in our region. I said, so I head up the organisation to make sure we do that.
Yeah, so representing manufacturers in the region, but is that with an export focus, or is it with a national focus, or a bit of everything, or?
Yeah, I always use a bit of a pond ripple analogy. The key thing for us is if you drop a stone into the pond and the ripple goes out, most important thing, we're here actually to represent manufacturers, but broader beyond that to service industries as well in our region. Beyond that, we're then starting to think about the broader state opportunities and representation for that and advocacy for that.
Yeah.
Then broader out to Australia, and then there are organisations within our family that actually do international work as well. A lot into AU, NZ, into Asia, but then there's entities that are doing work in Europe and the US.
Oh wow, it's excellent, and I think anyone that knows certainly HunterNet more intimately or is from this region, I think it's a incredible organisation that's been around for a fair while now.
Yeah, 1992 it was established, and it basically came out. A lot of people thought the founding of it was with the BHP closure, but actually it was prior to that. It was what they called the Carrington Slipways, where we used to do shipbuilding. So that was really the catalyst when that fell over. That was the catalyst for a couple of the manufacturers in our mix to actually get together. These were competitors, but recognised that they needed to work together.
Wow.
And again, that was quite unique. They were, bearing the soul a bit, being very humble and understanding how they could work together.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and you're right. It's not necessarily something you would traditionally, in a commercial sense, expect to happen, would you? Because as you said, these guys are these companies were competitors. So.
Yeah, and the opportunities were there for bidding on larger contracts.
Yeah.
But if they were a $5 or $10 million turnover business, they would have had no opportunity to gain any of that work on their own.
Yeah.
So forming mini consortiums was again the catalyst for this.
Yeah.
And again, I think stands the test of time, because those manufacturers, the founding fathers, came together. And then from that was born HunterNet. Actually, the opening ceremony is actually a picture we've got. It's actually on one of the old ferries going across from Newcastle to Stockton, and that's where the signing was agreed.
Right,
So,
okay. Oh, there you go. It's historic, and I think very indicative of the amazing sort of current and previous industrial history of this town. And I think, I don't know about you, because I'm from Sydney originally, but been up here about 15, 16 years now. I love the fact that I run along the harbour a couple of times a week and I still see big boy ships going in and out. So like it's a real active working harbour, and there's just lots of stuff going on. It's not just there for show, that's for sure.
No, we're very cool. I mean, I moved here 22 years ago.
Yeah.
But I was actually coming here for work prior to that.
Yeah.
But you never really saw anything from the airport to the facility you were going to. And then
Yeah,
actually
right.
when I got the opportunity to move here, you know, I fell in love with the place straight away.
Yeah.
I understood about HunterNet then because the organisations I worked for were patron members.
Right,
So I'd actually
okay.
never seen anything like HunterNet before in my travels. I've been very fortunate working across the world.
Yeah.
So I actually really embraced it and became, you know, heavily involved because of what it was offering.
Oh, nice, nice. And I mean, speaking of the UK thing, is there, because obviously there's plenty of, you know, significant towns, whether it is Newcastle upon Tyne in the UK or other big shipbuilding sort of cities. Is there, have you seen equivalent sorts of things like like HunterNet models in the UK or Europe at all? Or not really?
In Europe, yeah, in Spain and Portugal, they have similar models. The UK doesn't really, but the UK was obviously the founding country for cooperatives and mutuals. So HunterNet is actually an incorporated cooperative. Wow. So that is the sort of the closest test you'll get to it.
Yeah.
My actual main parallel is that, look, I'm from a very strong working class background.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up on what was the largest council estate in Europe at the time. I'm very proud of my working class roots.
Yeah.
But the city I grew up in was a place called Derby, which was home to rail building.
Yep.
Train building, and also it's the home of Rolls-Royce for nuclear and also for jet engines. Newcastle's got a very, very similar parallel, so hence I think that's why I really fell in love with the place when I moved here.
Okay, okay. And so am I getting it right though, was Rolls-Royce, did they supply Spitfire engines or was that, I thought so.
That was the Merlin.
Yeah,
so there's two unmistakable sounds that come out of Rolls-Royce from a jet engine perspective. Was the Merlin, which was in the Spitfire and the Hurricane, and then the other one that Rolls-Royce built was called the Olympus, which was on the Vulcan bombers as well as Concorde.
Right. Okay.
So they were both, you know, tested and produced in Derby.
Wow,
so.
wow. It's interesting. I was having a chat with someone last night. It's literally jumped into my mind, the Concorde. It's like, I feel like the Concorde was almost like this period where we somehow went forward 50 years in the future, and then obviously there was issues. I think a few of them crashed, didn't they? Or a few.
Yeah, one crashed on takeoff from Charles de Gaulle in Paris, and it was actually debris on the runway.
Oh, really?
So it spiked a wheel, and then that fire went up and bang.
Wow.
The thing with Concorde, and look, I remember this. So I started my apprenticeship in 1978.
Yep.
In the UK, there were two main projects going on, which were the first aluminium fabricated structures. One was Concorde, and one was what was called the Advanced Passenger Train, which was the tilting train, the first tilting technology.
I remember that as a kid.
So as an apprentice, when I was doing my time, one of my placements was actually on the Advanced Passenger Train production line. So it was a great point in time to learn technology. And again, you know, those two really stood the test of time. Oh, amazing. It's just, it was hilarious that I was literally talking about that last night because I still feel like Concorde, and especially with everything going on in the world at the moment, you go, how is it that it's 2026 and we're still doing these, you know, bus runs to Europe for 20 plus hours, yet in the 80s you could fly, what was it? It was about 3 hours or 2 hours? Yeah, you could go from the UK to the US in about 4 hours, and it was supersonic. Obviously.
It's insane.
And again, another nice parallel to that. My mum grew up in a place called Cirencester, and Farnborough was an airport very close by, and Farnborough was where they did all the testing for the Concorde.
Wow.
And Concorde used to also do joyrides. And our local airport, for my dad's 60th, we actually put him and my mum on a test on one of the joyrides.
That's
so
amazing.
it used to take off from local airports, go over what they call the Bay of Biscay, and go supersonic, and then come back again. So for all those, you know, boyhood experiences, one of those are very cool.
Oh, so. that is amazing. That's amazing. And I guess moving on, because we've sort of already crossed into that, I guess the, you know, bit more of a backstory about you. Like, what is it that motivates you to keep showing up every day to do what you do? Like, what do you get out of it that keeps you coming back?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look, I'd finished really my professional career in 2016 and was consulting, earning good money for somebody to use your grey hair and a lot more, not the same pressures day to day as I was having running projects and operations. And then sadly, the CEO of HunterNet passed away, and I got approached. And sometimes you do things, I don't follow money. Money follows you if you do things right. But I thought this was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I was always passionate about HunterNet. HunterNet had lost its way.
Yeah.
So in May this year, it'll be 5 years. But I probably took about a 35% drop in remuneration to take on the CEO role. So I've always been passionate about manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's in my DNA.
Yeah.
So it was actually a bit of a no-brainer to take the role.
Yeah.
What gets me up every day is the fact that we've got such a strong region. I mean, we've got 178 members in HunterNet. That represents 95,000 people.
Wow.
But 92 of them are still manufacturers. Some of them are cutting edge, some of them are still old metal bashers.
Yeah.
So representing them is what really gets me up. And, going out, visiting them, seeing what's going on in our region, it gives you the real good litmus test of what we've still got here. And as we sort of evolve and we transition into what will be new economy, we've really got the abilities and the passion to do that. And that's why, I get up in the morning for.
Nice. Yeah, so you feel like it's about, because of your passion for manufacturing, it's about representing those that are still doing it, still flying the flag. And I like that concept of everything from high-tech, 23rd century stuff through to old-school metal bashing.
Yeah, and there's still a place for that. Still people
Absolutely.
need bits of metal weld together.
Oh,
so.
for sure. I mean, my granddad was Scottish and he was a machinist and went and served on the motor torpedo boats in the UK during the Second World War. And I've still got a passion for those boats because of him and all the photos he used to show me. And I just think the craftsmanship and the work in that sort of area, it can be viewed as a bit of a dying art form, but I don't think so. I think it's absolutely still critical to so many things we use day to day.
Yeah, and the next generation of people coming through. I mean, we employ our own apprentices and trainees through HunterNet Career Connections. There's 205 of them. Yeah. So that next generation and doing proper trades is still such an important endeavour. Yeah. So that's the other passion that we have, is making sure the apprenticeship's coming through. I mean, I'm from a trade background. Yeah. I'm a tool fitter by trade, but I still use, I started in 78, but I still use those skills now. Yeah. Whether it's doing renovations or work around the house. Yeah. Those skills, stand you in good stead for the rest of your life. Yeah. And so that's what we're passionate about, is how do we make sure through TAFE, through the universities, all those skills still come through. And again, passion about manufacturing means you've got to provide advocacy into state and federal to look at investment into our future. So that's what I'm passionate about.